Hey there, Postal here. So today we are taking out the HS-129A. Not my favorite plane in the game. We'll get that out of the way right away. In fact, the only reason I'm flying it is because these missions are going on. The only reason I fly it otherwise is because it's requested when I live stream. Otherwise, this plane would be collecting dust in my hangar. And it all comes down to two reasons. Let's talk about the good things about the plane though first. You have two 20mm cannons, which at tier 4 you might say, well, that's really all not that good. They don't overheat very quickly, so that's a good thing. They're actually really good at taking out enemy aircraft. Let's try to show that off a little bit. Maybe. Oh, cool. We already got that. I'm going to move along to the garrison in this place. I didn't even drop my bombs, which is kind of a shame. So yeah, the guns are actually pretty good. I mean, they're not, you know, like world beaters, but it's tier 4. What do you expect? You've got okay-ish flexibility as far as your maneuverability is concerned. It's okay. You're not going to be able to dogfight, but you are going to be able to get your guns on target versus an air target if you need to. And the bombs are pretty good. They're 50 kilogram. They got a reasonably good reload time. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's the good things about it. I guess it's okay speed-wise. It's not the best. It's not the worst. Better than an IL-2, right? Probably. IL-2 is attacking me. What are some of the bad things about this plane? Well, the two terrible things about this plane are you don't have a rear gunner, and you're tier 4. So, well, of course it's tier 4 postal, but like right now I could have killed that guy if I had a rear gunner. The problem with tier 4 is you consistently get 3-sector maps. 3-sector maps aren't the best anyway, but they're terrible for a plane that can't defend itself. That's why low-tier ground attackers and low-tier bombers tend to just be absolutely frustrating. Because you can't escape. You can't go to a different sector, so to speak. You know, if you've got a hard counter, if you've got a tier 5 Spitfire constantly dogging you, you don't really have the ability to escape that when you keep getting into 3-sector maps, right? And so that can just be super frustrating. Just the gameplay that you're stuck with. Am I gonna crash here? Hopefully not. Possibly. Lots and lots of... Oh, hello, Bristol. Gonna ram him. The perk to tier 4 is that a lot of people don't know what the hell they're doing. The bots don't seem to know what the hell they're doing, although, you know, that is what it is. And so that's like the perk of tier 4, but the maps just are not very conducive to a plane that can't defend itself or go anywhere reasonably quick. Actually, I guess the bomb reload time is kind of slow. I mean, we're halfway done at 45 seconds, so I mean a minute and a half for your reload time. Hitting my air brakes here. Nothing you can do about it because you're in a piece of crap tier 4 ground attacker. Like, there's really no point to ground attackers tier 4 and below, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not a freaking, you know, next level meta player when it comes to ground attackers. I quite enjoy the tier 7 and above. Tier 5 and 6 are okay. But tier 4 and below, I just don't see the point of them. Anything that this plane or any tier 4 and below ground attacker can do, the tier 4 and below multi-rolls can do better. Typically the bomb reload time is just about the same. Heck, it's probably exactly the same on this thing, considering this is 90 seconds. Yeah, the bombs might not do as much on a multi-roll, but guess what a multi-roll can do? Multi-roll can actually dogfight pretty well. Tier 4 and below, they have incredible maneuverability, almost on par with a lot of the fighters. You certainly have better airspeed, so you're going to be able to get to sector quicker. You just got that flexibility that you'd want. You don't need a rear gunner when your plane can actually turn and go fast. So, that being said, for me, I would much rather just play in any, like, pick a tier 4 multi-role fighter, and it's probably better at capturing sectors than this plane would be. Or any, and not to call this plane out, but, you know, again, it's any of the tier 4 and below ground attackers. They just seem kind of pointless. That being said, they're going to have fun games with this particular plane. You know, there's definitely times where you're going to be like, oh, cool. Had a lot of fun with that. Can I turn? Oh, unfortunately, the Bristol's here again, so we're dead. And that's all there is to this. Unless you're in a flight, unless you've got somebody that's literally covering your booty, you're just kind of toast. Literally everybody's behind me, right? What can you do about it? Literally nothing. Like, literally nothing. Because the sectors are set up in a way that you have to go to... You can't... There's not 5 sectors. There's not even 4 sectors, right? So, you can't choose a different sector. You don't have options. You have to go for the sector that is available. And for better or for worse, I'm not even going to get to this next sector, so... Our P-38F's doing all kinds of great work. I'm just not able to supplement that. So, you know, this is a prime example of why this plane just... It's not a bad ground attacker for Tier 4. If you look at it, if you compare it to the other Tier 4 ground attackers. Cool. But, you know, that's like, what's the shiniest turd? I guess it's the HS-129A. Not even really, actually. I think the Tier 4 Soviet premium is probably better anyway. Let's head back. So, yeah, we lost that one. We did do some ground damage. We did kill an aerial target. You know, it is what it is. This is going to be the game I post. I'm tired of playing it. I've played it 3 times, and they're all the same. You have a 3-sector map, Tier 4, Tier 5, it doesn't matter. You just... The issue with the low-tier bombers and ground attackers is if you can't defend yourself, if you don't have a way to defend yourself, and that's either with your guns, with your rear gunner, with your altitude, or with your speed... then you're just going to be in a lot of trouble all the time. The only other thing you could do is if you take out the HS-129A, is make sure you're in a flight. Make sure you're with somebody that can be your rear gunner. Typically want to be with either a heavy fighter or a light fighter at that time. But take the steps to have some sort of defense. If you do that, maybe it'll be a little bit more enjoyable. But I just don't find... You know, I don't find being a sitting duck and, you know, sending out a little prayer to be enjoyable. The only time I play this plane is now for this video and when people request it when I live stream. Other than that, it's collecting dust. And I wish it would collect more dust. I wish people would stop requesting it, but I guess it's my own fault for owning it. There are people that thoroughly enjoy it. I know there's people on my Discord that have talked about getting Gabreskis in this plane. I mean, I'm sure that can happen. I'm sure that could literally happen in any ground attacker, though. So, yeah, I don't know, you know, why I would go out of my way to necessarily fly this particular plane. It's more frustrating than it is fun. That being said, as much as I've just, you know, knocked this plane off of its high horse, it can flip sectors. It does have the bomb power. It does have the gun power. If it's left alone, it can do a lot of damage. It can flip sectors pretty easily, but the key is being left alone, and that doesn't happen very often. Your best bet is to be in a tier 4 battle, and even then can be hit or miss with the bots. Once you're in a tier 5 battle, all bets are off. Literally every tier 5 plane's just going to outclass you in every way, shape, or form. So, yeah, that's all there is to it. As far as my setup is concerned, I've fully kitted this out for survivability. It's a premium plane, so you get all the equipment slots right off the bat. I've gone ahead and put the improved cockpit armor because there's no point in putting a sight on here. I've gone ahead and put improved reinforced skin. Argument could be made to, put lightweight wing frame or polished skin on here. I suppose you could do that, add some maneuverability. This is relatively maneuverable for a tier 4 ground attacker, but I've gone for survivability. I've also put long gun barrels on here just to add some distance. Gas operated action, sure, it wouldn't hurt. I just wanted to put some extra distance on these guns. So really, it's completely up to you in that regard. I have provided the improved fragmentation so that my bombs do even more damage. And because I don't have a rear gunner, you might as well put fire extinguisher on here. If my pilot gets knocked out, which he very rarely does, so be it. But this plane does catch on fire quite a bit. Even with the improved reinforced skin, I get the wing knocked out from time to time. So it's not the most durable of planes in general. So yeah, this is the plane that you would have to look forward to by earning 20,000 capture points for destroying ground targets. That's how you would earn this plane. You need to be in a tier 5 or above plane. Obviously, whatever plane you choose just has to be doing ground damage, so it doesn't need to be a ground attacker to get this particular plane from the mission. But a ground attacker or a bomber would probably be the quickest way to earn this particular plane. So granted, I don't have a lot of tier 4 planes in general. I tend to avoid period 1 simply because if there are new pilots to the game, I don't want to be down there stomping on their faces and making them, not play the game anymore. I want them to try to get up to tier 5, 6, 7, tier 10 hopefully one day, right? But let's do just a quick comparison of the HS-129A to just some of the couple multi-rolls that I have in my hangar. This is on my North American account. So let's look at the P-43. Not a very well-loved Tier 4 multi-role fighter. It's okay in my opinion. I've got it just because I could get it. Bought it back. This particular plane, you have a couple bombs that have a reasonable reload on them. Just 60 seconds. 250-pound bombs. These bombs are going to do 4,400 damage each. Reload in 60 seconds. Alright, so yeah, you don't have better guns than the HS-129, and you certainly don't have better survivability, but look at the difference on the airspeed, maneuverability, and altitude performance. This multi-role fighter can do a little bit of everything. And I'm just picking, again, the multi-roles that I happen to have. These are not necessarily the best multi-roles that are out there. These are just the multi-roles I happen to have at Tier 4 in my hangar. Let's look at the Hurricane 1, which actually is a pretty darn good Tier 4 multi-role, I must say. This plane has 250-pound bombs that take a 60-second amount of time to reload. Again, the guns aren't crazy good, but you do have 8 of them. It's actually kind of sort of close. As far as the overall damage per second, you have 8 Brownings. Really short range, but just look at the amount of airspeed, maneuverability, and altitude performance that you get over the HS-129. Pretty significant. Yeah, the cumulative damage of these particular bombs is 7,200. So, a fair chunk more than the 4,400 that you're going to be doing with your Hurricane or your P-43. But is that really worth the extra 30 seconds reload time, the completely poor airspeed, maneuverability, and altitude performance at this tier? For me, no. And there's a difference between saying, well, top tier ground attackers don't have the same altitude as multi-roles. They don't have the same maneuverability or airspeed. Yeah, that's true. But they have much more airspeed and maneuverability than you would think that they would. And they've got the airspeed and maneuverability to get away from a bad situation. They've also got rear gunners that do some pretty chunk damage. They've got the ability to defend themselves, whether it be fight or flight or freeze. Well, they don't freeze, but you know what I mean. So you've got that flexibility. You can make a determination. Am I turning around and fighting this plane that's trying to attack me? Or am I running away before it even gets there? Am I picking a different sector to go to? You don't have that option with the tier 4 and below ground attackers. They're too slow to get away. They're not maneuverable enough to get away. They don't have a way to defend themselves. And so you're just a sitting duck, and it can be very, very frustrating. You want to see something really crazy? So here is a tier 4 premium multi-role that actually gets better bomb and gun cumulative damage than your lovely HS-129. Now, keep in mind, I do have some equipment on here that's going to help the reload. Let's just say it's a 90-second base reload for this particular plane. Your 2 bombs and your 6 rockets are going to do the same amount of damage as the 4 bombs that you get with the HS-129. The same reload time, technically the same damage, a little bit more even on this I-1629. Plus you get all that maneuverability, airspeed, and kind of, it's actually very mediocre altitude performance with the I-16-29, and it is still significantly better than a multi-role. And so the reason I point out the airspeed, maneuverability, and altitude performance is, is simply it's that's how you defend yourself. And you just can't defend yourself when you're in an HS-129. So that's my rant on this particular plane. You get it for free, so I guess there's only so much bitching you can do about it. At the very least, you're going to get 1 hangar slot, 1 trained pilot with a free skill point out of the deal. And you can sell this plane for... What can you sell this plane for? For 230,000 credits. If you wanted to. So, there's that. And all you have to do is just do your normal thing. If you're just out there you're getting capture points for destroying ground targets anyway, then just do it just to get it. What I like about these missions is there are 3 different sets for these missions. The HS-129 is getting capture points for destroying ground targets. The LAG 3 Series 34 is capturing 350 sectors. And the P-39N Cobra is destroys 700 enemy aircraft. You've got 30 days to do all of these. And so you got plenty of time. Whatever you happen to be grinding, you're going to be able to get these particular planes. Just keep on keeping on when it comes to them. And you'll eventually get it. I would not be excited to be getting this particular plane. But I'd love to hear if you guys, is this am I just out of left field? Am I completely wrong when it comes to this? I'm sure there's somebody out there that loves this plane or loves this play style. I would love to hear your comments down below about it, or hop in my Discord. We can certainly continue the conversation there. Otherwise, I'll continue to be posting some videos. I will post a video on the LAG 3 Model 34 and on the P-39N, 2 planes that I actually do quite enjoy. So hopefully we'll have a different tone in those videos. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.